Good morning, everybody. It is Monday the 16th, and I realized that I need to start prepping for the 20th because that's when I'm going in for my colonoscopy. Finally, get it done with. Um, so I got to go through the week-long cleanse, and on Thursday the 19th, three more days, whatever it is, I have to drink that Colace stuff and clean out my bowels. Fun, fun, fun. Let me just tell you, last time I did that, not realizing I wouldn't be able to make it because of one thing or another, um, made me feel like death warmed over. And I'm like, oh, yay. So, yeah, that's coming up. Um, we had gotten a invitation to my cousin's oldest daughter's graduation in Ohio, and well, we all sat down to talk about it. Now, Aunt Sue doesn't feel like she's going to be able to go. Mom doesn't know if she's going to be able to go or not because of her hip. Jerry doesn't know if she's going to be able to go or not because of her health issues and all the problems that could arise trying to get in and out of buildings. My aunt and uncle's house, or you know, certain other people's houses that we want to go visit. So that is still kind of like up in the air. If anything, I have no idea if we're going or not. Now, for all the reasons why we shouldn't go, kind of outweigh all the pros of going. Yes, I would like to go to see my family, which I haven't seen in 2 years due to COVID. There's just a lot of different reasons why we haven't been able to go to see them, mostly because of health issues. Last year it was Jerry and her issues. The year before that, I think we didn't go because of COVID. So I think the last time we were up there was back in 2019, when the oldest daughter graduated. The graduation this coming June is a middle daughter. I said older daughter, I meant middle daughter. I'm sorry for making that mistake. Let me correct myself. It's his middle daughter. The younger child, which, young Chase, well, he's in high school, so he'll be the next graduation in a year or two. So it's when he graduates, well, we'll see what's going on. But my opinion of what travels or whatever is, far as I'm concerned, if Jerry can't go to Ohio for the graduation, I don't think we're going to be going to Texas for visit. I know she probably wants to go down in September when her bestie's oldest daughter has her second child, another girl. Yeah. So I'm just kind of like, well, depending on what I'm doing in September or how well she's doing health wise, it might be one of those things of, hey, if Lisa can come up here, spend a day or so, and then turn around and take Jerry back, and then bring Jerry back up, I think that would be a good thing. But it depends a whole lot on Jerry's health. Now, somebody this morning asked me a question that I'm going to address, because it's a simple question, yet it's a complex, not so simple, yet simple answer. This young person, I don't know how old this person is, but they asked me, how are we going to deal with money if I'm out of work? Well, 3 ways. One is I can get temporary unemployment income from my job because I'm only unemployed until the fall. Now, if I decide not to take a job with the college in the fall, I will be cut off. 2, Jayanne and I are making enough money through our YouTube videos to pay off our current bills. Won't give us much extra and whatnot. And the third way is we're hoping, because of Jayanne's optical disability of being quote unquote clinically blind, that's from the doctors themselves, not something we are making up. She's not really supposed to be driving, which she hasn't been, mostly because of her, back brace and whatnot. But the doctor did tell us that she does have the macular degeneration in the back of her eyes still. Not as bad as they were in the beginning, but they're still causing issues. And he discovered the precursor or telltale signs of cataracts. So we're hoping that will either get her disability or some form of SSI income. So we're hoping for that too. But we're not holding our breath on SSI. At least I'm not. I know we're making enough money right now. In fact, I think I'm supposed to be getting a paycheck this Friday, my last final paycheck of the season, unless that was last Friday. I'd have to go look at the bank. But we have some money coming in. We have contingency plans of, I'm going to give, let's see, what is this? This is not the final week of June, so I'm going to give them until probably this weekend to hear anything from McAllister's. If I don't hear anything from them, I'm going to either go knocking on their door to find out what's going on, or just start looking for other opportunities. The other opportunities would be more part-time than full-time. And even though I don't want to, they'll probably ask me to shave. Unless I can get a job at one of the convenience stores or places like that. And they'll probably just ask me to groom to make it look nice. Because if I wanted to, I can throw out the religious card, but I don't want to do that because it's an argumentative point. But yeah, no, we're not worried. Me and Jay are not worried about finances right now. We're not strapped. We're not, on the balls of our heels or anything like that. We're doing good. Yes, Jayanne did say we may come June, maybe later, mid-June, that we may either have to do something I really don't want to, which is run up a credit card just to make ends meet. And I'm kind of like, no, I want those. I want all but the 3 credit cards we've been using to remain at 0 balance. Nothing's due, nothing's overdrawn. Don't owe them a penny. So I'm like, hey, as long as we're paying off our bills and we don't have debt collectors or anybody sending us nasty grams, I'm fine. We've got enough food supplies and whatnot in the house that we don't have to go grocery shopping, every other week. So I'm just kind of like, I'm letting it ride for now. But when it starts to look like we're having issues because we're getting overdraft notices or late fee notices and things like that, then I'll start to worry. But I am keeping my eye on that, and so far everything looks good. So I'm, there's no concerns. Besides that, I can easily jump on Indeed.com or the local. Oh God, what was it? Indeed, Google. There was another website I was using to look for jobs in the area. And I'll tell you this much, Indeed seems to be the better because it keeps the openings updated. Most of the time, it's either Indeed doing their own updates or the companies will send information to Indeed so they can update their data. But I've already gotten, I don't know, at least half a dozen or more emails through Indeed from various companies going, oh yeah, you look like a good fit for our team, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, what's the job? Don't butter it up for me. Just tell me what the job is and what the details are. And a lot of them are like, I wouldn't want to work for them no matter what because of their reputation. Some of them I know I could not do because I don't have clerical skills. File keeping skills, I can do a decent job, but it won't be like 100% perfect. It'll be, oh, okay, I'm looking for, oh, okay, it somehow got behind the S's instead of in front of the S's, or, it's in the right area, just, one or two letters difference, accidentally put Anderson with S's because, I skipped a letter. That's because of my brain, the way it works. I don't want to work outdoors. I don't want to have to travel long distances. I was offered up a job in Eureka, but that's 100 miles away. That's half a tank of gas one way. An hour's drive, basically. And I'm like, no. I don't want to drive an hour, 2 hours a day just to get to and from work. And then have to work 8, 10, 12 hours a day because they are, hurting for managers. And that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to hire me on as an assistant manager. And I was like, then they started giving me details, and I went, having to drive from here to there, and then having to deal with gas and, long hours. I mean, longer than any job I've worked since I was a teenager. No, not for the amount of money they were offering. Because they weren't offering a salary. They were hourly based prices. And I went, you'd have to pay me $20 an hour for me to have to drive from Rolla to Eureka and then back. Gassing up every other day at $5, around $5+ a gallon. No. That's like $200 a day, or $200 a week for gas alone. No, thank you. So I was just, I waved that off. I was just like, kept on saying, I just come out Friday at 1 p.m. and we'll talk to you about it and get you vetted and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, no, no. Driving, forking over that much money a week just for gasoline alone, plus wear and tear on my car, plus long hours, hoping to God that as I'm driving home, I'm not falling asleep on the road because I'm exhausted beyond measure. Risks were too high. The cons were too high, basically. And because the fact I knew that the St. James Burger King flew the same basic what do I want to say, the franchise owners for the different Burger Kings here in Missouri. I worked with them before, and I don't know if it was the old manager or what, but they just didn't seem to be the greatest of companies. Or it was just the old manager I was working for. Don't know. There's enough jobs here in Rolla that are fast food that I can get hired on for because of my experience. But I don't really want to work fast food because I don't want to have to shave. Now, if I get the job that McAllister's offered me, there's a different story. I'm not going to go into details, but they offered me a really good position for really good money, and I was like, sure, let me know when you're ready to get me in store and finish the hiring process, the last paperwork, which is usually your W-2s and your tax, all that fun stuff. Just let me know. And I've been kind of holding out for them because they sound like the better, and it's a deli type franchise or restaurant. And that, no, come on, nearly 20 years worth of deli type work. I don't think I'll have a problem with it. I'll just have to learn their foods and their methodologies and their spiel, however you want to put it. And I'm like, please, please, this is like my ultimate job. Jerry Ann and I had talked about opening up our own little eatery pretty close to college because, that's money right there. I mean, yeah, during the summer months, you might have to find ways to beef up or advertise well enough to get business during the off season. But I don't know. I just that idea kind of went the way of the dodo bird because just the overhead costs until the business got really good, and then there wouldn't be as much of an overhead. That in the factor of picking a spot where they have an opening and putting in all the equipment for, what we wanted to do, which, to be funny, to be honest with you, McAllister's is exactly what we were thinking about doing. A semi fast food cafe type deli where you can come in and order food and sit down and have a nice meal, without having to feel like you're rushed. But like I said, I'm still holding out on that for at least another week or two. And then Jay and I will sit down and discuss it and see what's what, and depending on how much longer she thinks we can hold out without me getting an actual job other than YouTube. It's also kind of one of those things where it's like, I've only been home Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 5 days. 5 days of being off work or temporarily unemployed. I am like, yesterday I really felt down and out. I mean, I was just like, didn't know what I wanted to do, didn't feel like doing much. I wanted to just sit around and veg and do my own thing. And I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I'm like, I have a minor list of things I want to do, but I'm having trouble getting the motivation to finish up in here or do anything else that's not exactly a necessity, like laundry and cooking and, errands if I have to get out of the house to pick stuff up or drop stuff off or like take my recycling to the recycling center since they're not picking that up no more, and just dealing with the everyday grind of life. Now, Jerry is getting more and more self sufficient, so I'm not having to be at her beck and call. Yes, I check on her for breakfast. I get her, a cup of coffee or something to eat, and then I do the same thing at lunchtime, and then dinner I'm cooking for me and mom, and maybe if I, depending on time or whatnot, making something for Jerry. Um, Unless it's something that all three of us can partake in. Because right now we have the every plate system set up for 2 people instead of 3, or you can only do 2, 4, and beyond 4 I don't know because we don't do anything beyond 4. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, it's great for doing for 2 people, for me and mom, or 1 or 2 recipes that are basically I know mom wouldn't like, so they're basically for Jerry. And I'm like, it's not that I'm losing ground, but I'm actually getting tired of the every plate system. The other day, I wasn't feeling like cooking an elaborate meal, so I just made something simple. I browned up some ground beef and had noodle roni with mom while making Jerry. I forgot what I made Jerry. I don't remember what. Jerry wanted something odd. What did she want? She wanted me to make heat up one of those 2 serving things of cauliflower rice, or not cauliflower rice, cauliflower mash, the garlic and herb one, and then she had me cut up a bunch of turkey and put like shredded taco cheese and then bacon bits, so she could have a fully loaded mashed potato type thing. Her choice. I was like, okay, whatever you want. I mean, And today started out interesting. Basically, I had my alarm set for 8. Jerry ended up waking me up at like 8:15. Made her a cup of coffee. Made myself a cup of coffee, and by the time I sat down to enjoy my cup of coffee, I was like, oh, yeah, it's 5 to 9, and I have to go out and pick up some necessary groceries. Of course, I think some of the things that Jerry bought that were semi-necessary, she bought in excess. But hey, if it's going to feed her and satisfy her needs for a quick lunch or a quick snack or whatnot, and it's healthy, sure, no problem. I just sometimes worry that she's eating too much of those items, even though they're good for you. At least they're supposed to be good for babies, but I guess they're good for the adults as well, especially adults with stomach issues or sensitive gum lines or mouth tissue or throat tissue. So I was like, she's doing what she can to keep all the important nutrients and whatnot in her system. And hey, if she's enjoying if she's enjoying these little baby food pouches because they're easier for her to deal with, I'm not going to, argue the point or whatever. But, excuse me. It's already been one of those days where I don't want it to sound like a cop out, because I'm not trying to cop out. I'm just trying to explain things, which sometimes when I look at it, it makes me slightly concerned. But in the last couple days, maybe since last weekend, and I don't mean this one that just passed, but the other one, I've been having these de-energized feelings. Like I don't know if it's depression or what it is, but I'll get up and I'll feel great, and I'll start doing stuff. Then I'll get to a point where it's just like the proverbial wall popped up out of nowhere, and I ran face first into it, and I just kind of go, oh, there goes my energy, there goes my momentum, here comes a headache, here comes a sinus problem. I know over the weekend, especially, Sunday, which I felt the worst in a long time. No energy, no gumption, no desire, nothing. No feeling whatsoever. I just felt like an empty vessel. And I know the weather was getting crappy and whatnot, and I know sometimes the weather affects me in a negative way, but even before the weather hit, I got up, I did my morning routine, I got my coffee, I got breakfast for me and Jerry, got Jerry a coffee, and I felt semi-okay in the morning time, but by 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, I just felt like, okay, somebody's dropping lead weights on my butt. I feel like I'm being crushed by the world around me. I'm like, I just started feeling like shite. And then the next thing I knew, I was just sitting in the living room, I think it was. I'm trying to remember where I was. If it wasn't the living room in front of the computer, it was right here where I am now. I just started feeling like, nope, no desire to do anything beyond the blog. Because I did the vlog, and I got it all set up to go onto the computer, and I never really got onto the computer to do anything with it until late in the evening. But I was like, ugh. I just feel like, felt like I got ran over by a fleet of Mack trucks and drained of all my energy by an unknown force, And I just kind of went, okay, I don't know what's going on. I went and I sat down and I tried to talk to Jerry about it and see what what she thought about it and whatnot. And her explanation was, it's your first weekend with no work. You haven't worked in the last couple of days, last 4 days. You just don't know what to do with yourself. And, she tried to put a positive spin on it. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know if it's that or the weather or just the fact that I don't know what I'm doing, because at work, I was on autopilot a lot of time, but I knew, even on autopilot, I knew exactly what I had to do. I knew the processes of how to do it. I knew how to pace myself or speed myself up for time. Here at home, I'm like, I feel like up is down and down is up and left is right and right is left. It's just like, what the, you know. So what we're going to try to do to help me out is we're going to try to sit down with my calendar and whatnot and start, blocks of time, an hour to 2 hours of work in this room, half an hour to break, an hour or so to work in this area, half an hour to break. Just trying to not only make it in blocks of time so I don't feel like I'm either rushed or whatever, but I'm like, whatever we can do to help me, realize what I need to do and keep myself on track and not wear myself out. And one of the things that Jerry said to me yesterday, which I was kind of like, I'm not trying to make you a chore. I'm trying to do what I can to spend time with you, but at the same time, I feel that I need to get stuff done. So it's one of those like, how do I break up my day where I'm getting stuff done around the house, yet spending time with Jerry and not making it feel like it's part of a task. It's something I want to do, not something that I'm scheduled to do. And I'll be honest with you, I do want to spend time with Jerry, but there are times where it's either my brain is going nuts and I can't really focus on spending time with Jerry, or I just get so fidgety because I'm like, I know the stuff that needs to be done, but I just don't know what to start, where to work, where to go. That and the factor, I got word yesterday from Jay that our niece, well, it's her niece, so in turn, she's also my niece, from Vegas wants to come out and visit. And I'm like, that would be cool. She hasn't been here yet. She doesn't know what our house is like and where we live and what we do. And, she knows what she's heard and whatnot, but she wants to come out and just see for herself. That in fact, I think she just wants to get out of Vegas for a little while to just get away from the craziness of Vegas, which I don't blame her. I mean, I was only there for a short period of time when we went up there for our honeymoon, and one other time for something else. I can't remember what it was, but I was just like, oh, man, how can you live here? It's constant hustle and bustle and bright lights and noise. And granted, she lived out in the suburbs, so it wasn't all that bad, but every time we went into Vegas, it was just kind of like, man, sensory overload. I mean, literally sensory overload for me. That's why I'm more of a quiet, sleepy town or country village or mountain getaway or whatever. But she's thinking about coming to visit us. Don't know when. Our friend Lisa in Texas wants to come up and visit, but she has to wait until after her hip surgery, and I forgot what else she was talking about that she needed. So she probably won't be coming up here until maybe around Jerry's birthday. I don't know. Which would be great, because if she's here in time to go into St. Louis for Jerry's doctor's appointment to see if she can start walking, maybe Lisa can drive and I can stay home and just have a day to myself. That would be so awesome. But if it doesn't go that way, I'll just deal. The other thing is, I think part of my problem yesterday, because I can sense it today, is I'm just tired of people trying to tell me what I can and cannot do. If I have a desire to do something, I'm going to find a way to do it, especially if I have the backing of my wife. And people are worried about, well, it's going to cost you money for an RV. How are you going to afford an RV? Blah, 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 blah. Well, we've been watching these videos of people who've taken their minivans, whether it's a Nissan or a Toyota or a Ford or our or vehicles similar to ours. Um, and they showed us, no builds. They showed us builds. Um, they showed us easy, inexpensive ways of doing it. Um, and I'm looking at all of them, and I'm thinking, well, the most expensive thing besides the wood, if we were to do build, and they call it a no faceted build. Basically, they build their stuff to the design or shape of the vehicle and not put a hole in the sidewall of the vehicle by putting a screw in there. They build it in such a way it stays where it's supposed to stay without moving, because everything's connected by pieces of wood. And this one person had this archway above him to connect this side to that side so it wouldn't collapse in on him. And there was like this nice little gap where you can slide long pieces of items to store it. And what he had stored up there was the shades to go over the window so he's not being disturbed by light. And I was like, other than the factor of the woodworking, that looks great. I mean, that was like, it looked neat. But I'm not good with that kind of stuff. And then another person showed how they just built a simple platform for their foam mattress or whatever. And the platform, the area underneath was used for storage. Long drawers, short drawers on the sides near the back door, or not back door, side doors. One person had a build, basically it was a built-in, no attaching it to the vehicle itself. And it literally covered the whole left side from back to driver's seat. So you couldn't use that sliding glass door. And then the other side, he just built it from the back end, the trunk area to the side door. And again, I was like, that's neat, but I don't think I have the skill for woodworking that stuff. So if we do anything like converting the back end of our minivan into a sleeping area for an RV, I think the cheap, simple way of just buying certain things and turning them into platforms or whatnot would be the best for us. And that way, it's like the cheapest way to go. Don't have to do anything but buy supplies to build or create the RV setting in the back end. And then just, get the cooking equipment and a mini fridge or igloo or something that you can plug into the power of the vehicle. Or this one person, which I think is the best way to go. Well, there's two different ways to go that I can think of that these people did. One of them, this lady had a small generator. Not a gas generator. It was solar. You can either plug it in at home to charge. You can plug it into your lighter to charge it while the car is running. Or it has a plug for a portable solar panel system. Now, I looked at those. Well, they run anywhere from $800 to $80, depending on what size you want to get, what you want to use it for, how you plan on charging it, all that fun stuff. Now, the bigger ones has multiple USB plugs as well as regular direct or indirect AC or DC plugs. It has like multiple plugs with light, with its own little light on it, and you can charge it via solar or your car battery or plugging it at home until it's charged. And it could last like several, I think they were saying, depending on how much you use it and what all you use it for depends on how long it can last. But one charge on just using it for simple lightweight stuff can last a day, day and a half. If you're using it for your computer, you're charging your cell phones or digital devices and lighting, it may only last like 6 hours before you have to recharge it. The little ones, they have maybe one or two USB ports. Um, so it really depends on what you plan on using the generator for. You're gonna use the generator to charge all your digital devices as well as light up the back end of the minivan via rope lights or something like that. You might want something bigger. That's probably the most expensive piece of equipment you would need to buy for a RV, a minivan RV, or however you want to put it. You know, okay, so we have X amount of dollars on our, um, and I was looking this up off of Amazon. I'm pretty sure there are other places with cheaper prices. I just don't know about them. But we were like, we've got enough credit on our Amazon cards to get a generator, to get a single or double burner camp stove that runs off of the little propane canisters. Um, we can get the collapsible sinks. We can get the equipment or the gear that we would probably need. Which I was looking up the other day and putting a whole bunch of it in one of my private files on Amazon because I didn't want anybody to go on there and look and go, oh yeah, let's help them out. And no, 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 no. I'm the type of person that wants to do it all on my own blood, sweat, and tears. Um, I'm not one for asking for stuff, especially just out of the blue. Now, I've said it before, and I'll say it again, and I don't care if people want to consider this soft begging or not. Um, if anything, the only time I want to receive gifts of any form is like birthday or Christmas. I'm not one for asking for gifts or anything like that for any other time because everybody wants to give somebody a gift on their birthday, and Christmas is the time of giving, you know. But I'm not asking for anything. Now, there's been plenty of people out there who want to say, "Oh yeah, he's soft begging." No, because I make it a point to tell people I don't want people just to give me stuff because I'm asking. I want people to understand that these are things that I need to get myself. I will do whatever I can to get it myself. I am not one for just, asking. But we've already been planning and talking about it and getting items when we can afford to. Like, I have a set of wooden spoons or wooden utensils um, for cooking. We got this water pump dealie that you can attach to a one of those store bought water containers that you get at Walmart and fill it up there. Um, that's for running water. Jay's talking about getting like a 5 gallon water thingy, and I'm like, yeah, 5 gallons should be good. Get fresh water, get water for cleaning. Of course, I'd rather buy a couple of those 1 gallon jugs for cleaning. Oh, that's gonna wake me up. There's a couple other stuff down here underneath these chairs behind me that Jerry saved for camping and whatnot. Of course, one of the first things she bought, or she started buying when we were talking about RVing, was decals and stickers and whatnot to put inside the RV. And I was like, oh, God, no, 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 no. If there's anything that's going to be inside the RV, it's just whatever the RV comes with in our bedding and clothing. And I don't want to be buying a whole bunch of stuff to try to store in an RV while we travel. And that was one of the things I almost said to Jerry when she was talking about converting the van into an RV. And I was going to say, you realize we're going to have minimal space, which means we're going to have to live like minimalists and not buy a whole bunch of extra stuff. That where are we going to have it? Where are we going to keep it? Where are we going to put it? You know, there's not going to be space for us to live in the RV and have all this stuff that you bought at a Dollar Tree or Five Below or wherever in a different state or location. She's like, oh, don't worry about it. I'll figure it out. No. I'm sorry. When it comes to certain things with Jerry Ann, when she says, don't worry about it, I'll figure it out, I end up going, no. 2 reasons why. One, she might figure it out, but it's going to cause me a headache, and I'm going to go, how the heck am I going to do this? Or B, she'll go ahead and just get the item and tell me to figure it out. No, I'm sorry. I will say, though, if she does decide to buy stuff in a different state or whatnot and needs to get it transported back to Missouri, the first thing I'm going to say is, okay, where's the nearest UPS store? We'll take it. We'll have UPS deliver it directly to our house and tell Mom to just bring it inside and put it in her room or out of her way. And then when we get home, I'll be like, oh, that's all the stuff that you bought. You get to deal with it. Because I already know this much, and I'm kind of unhappy about it. But Mom has already basically told me that if we do the RV thing and we're gone for extended periods of time and cannot help her with paying the house bills, that she will put the house up for sale. She's already told me that. And I said, I can understand that, because I even told Mom in the beginning, yeah, we will probably be able to help you as much as possible with the bills, but we will need a home base to come to when we're done gallivanting around, wherever. And then I told Mom, if we get an actual RV and not just using the van as an RV, my plans are to basically live out of that RV 24/7, 365. And then Mom can do whatever she wants with the house, because I'll have to be paying for the RV itself. Most of my money will be going into that. Mom and I have already made certain agreements. We've already talked about it, and I agree with her. If me and Jerry cannot afford to put money into the house so the bills get paid, and the house is in Mom's name, no matter what Jerry says, no matter what I say, the house is in Mom's name until Mom, if we're still in this house, I hate to think this way, but the house is basically Mom's until we either move out or she passes away. Then it goes into my name. And I will tell you this much, unless we can figure out how to make the money to pay for the bills, whether me and Jerry move to that side of the house and rent at least 2, maybe 3 rooms to college students to help us with the payments, I don't see us staying in this house either. I personally would have issues with staying in this house if Mom dies here, because when we were living in Arizona, the house that we moved into before Dad passed away, when he passed away, I couldn't stand that house. I just too many memories that were causing me issues. A lot of personal stuff was going on, and I was like, I can't do this. And Mom wanted to move closer to where she was working, which is kind of funny, because we moved from Mesa, Arizona to Paradise Valley, Arizona, and a couple months or so after we moved into the Paradise Valley house, Mom was able to work from home if she wanted to. The down part of that is trying to work at home with people, just too much noise. and she didn't have enough room for a personal office in her bedroom. So the working from home kind of got kiboshed, and well, there's a whole lot of other issues that I'm not going to go into right now. That's a story for a different time. But anyhow, 15 minutes. Okay. Anyhow, I appreciate a lot of people's advice and whatnot, but when people are trying to be negative by telling me that we're never going to be able to do something, I have to say bullshit. Because like I said earlier, if me and Jerry are both on the same page when it comes to a certain project or a certain thing or a certain desire or a method of adventure, we're going to do everything we can in our power to do it. We both understand there are certain things that need to happen before we commit to the adventure of our being. Her back, her leg, making sure her health is good enough for travel, things like that. But we are both adamant about trying to do RVing, whether it's in the back of the minivan or in an actual Class B Thor Elite camper. So the naysayers about, oh, what about this? What about that? You're not going to be able to do it because of this. You're not going to. I don't care. You can keep that. You can keep that to yourself because maybe that's your thing. You want to do it, but you can't. So you're trying to make sure nobody else can. I don't know. And personally, I'm not worried about it. If it's something that we want to do, and it's something that God wants us to do, or it's in our stars, whatever you want to call it, however you want to put it, then it's going to happen. We don't know what the future holds. It's up to the man upstairs, not to us. So if there's both of us want to do it, maybe it's meant to be. And all your negative saying, oh no, you're not going to be able to do it because this and this and this, you're just blowing smoke up somebody's rumpus. And that's on you. If I want to do it, I'm going to do it. If he says it's doable, it's going to be doable. So the negativity, give that back to the devil, or go back serving him in whatever way he wants you to serve him. Because all that negativity, that's from him. That's from the guy downstairs. I don't care about the guy downstairs. The guy downstairs can kiss my rumpus. It's the man upstairs that I'm more worried about. But anyhow, if you guys enjoyed this vlog, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments about it, try to keep those comments as positive as possible. Go right ahead and put those comments and questions. In fact, I actually enjoy questions. I'll talk to her in a moment. If you're new to my channel and have not joined and you want to, go right ahead. You can click on the subscribe button. Once you're done with hitting the subscribe button, a little bell will pop up, and then once you hit that bell, you'll get notified when I put my next video in. Until next time, you guys have a good day. Bye.